Here we are once again having a pop up video on today. So we're gonna have a pop up conversation with between myself and Jackie, and she has an experience that she want to share with the rest of the world, and we want to take our time to listen to her. So, Jackie,
Want to change your screen to speaker view?
I sure can.
Okay. I want to tell you a story, and I'm so thankful to Electra for letting me tell this story because I feel it very deeply in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And first thing I'm going to say is that it's not originally my story, but it could be. It's not Electra's story, but it could be. This is a story about choice and consequence.
Okay.
And I heard this story from a man in a church conference probably 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so powerful to me that 30 years later, it stuck with me. And I can tell you, I can still relate that story to you. So I'm going to tell you that story. And that won't be word for word. And I don't need to plagiarize him. And I don't remember his name. And I do remember the story.
Okay.
So when he was a teenager, he contracted a debilitating disease. He never said what it was, but I'm thinking something along the lines of mono, right? Just because he said he was instructed during the summer months to completely rest, not to do anything strenuous, no activities, and he was very much into sports. So one day, his parents left for the day, and they said, "Are you okay here at home? You know, do you need anything?" No, I'm fine. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to watch TV. I'm fine. And so his parents leave, and he's got the window open, and he's listening to the sounds of nature, and pretty soon, he starts hearing kids playing, talking and shouting like kids do when they're playing.
Right.
And he says, "Oh, I wish I was out there." And so after a while, he says, "It won't hurt me to just go outside. I'll just go outside and look." So he goes outside and he looks, and he can hear that the noise is coming from the field down the playground.
Mm-hmm.
So I just walk to the end of the street, just to the end of the street. And then he gets to the end of the street and he sees all of his friends in this field. He goes, "I'm just going to walk over to the field. I'm not going to play. I'm just going to stand there and say hello to my friends, and then I'll go right home." And he gets there and he's saying hello to all of his friends, and then they're playing football. Some of his other friends are playing football, and that's what everyone's screaming and hollering about, kicking signs about, and he loves to play football.
Mm-hmm.
And so pretty soon he's edging closer to the end of the field, and he's telling himself, I'm just watching. I'm not going to scream about, I'm not going to yell, I'm not going to, and pretty soon he's right there with the rest of them, yelling and screaming and clapping. And then one of his friends tosses him the ball. He says, "Come on in and play." And he says, "No, I can't. Still sick." No. Come on. You look perfectly fine to us." So he goes in and plays. And he's playing and he's running and he's feeling fine. And the next thing he knows, he's laying on the ground looking up. And everyone's in a panic because he's passed out.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, his father is there, kneeling over him. And his father helps him stand up, and he puts his arm around his son's shoulder, and he walks with him back to the house, and he doesn't say anything until they get all the way back to the house. And the son is telling him, "But Dad, I just was going to walk. I was just going to go to the end of the block, and then I was just going to go here, and then I was just going to watch. But, it was my friends, and they wanted me to do it. I was just really going to watch." And his father's only response to that was, "Were you standing too close to the edge of temptation?"
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is yes, because he knew that. So what I want to talk to you about is the choices that you make every day, and when you make those choices. Do you make those choices,
Mhm.
before you put yourself in a situation, or do you wait until the heat of the moment to make that choice,
Mhm.
knowing that in the heat of the moment we don't always make the wisest choice? I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, because I'm going to tell you the reason this has stuck with me for all these years
Mhm.
is because all those times when I think back and I go, ah, I should have thought about that and made my choice, made my decision before I agreed to go to this party,
Mhm.
before I agreed to go on the date with this man.
Mhm.
I should have made that choice before I agreed to go dancing at this club. You know, I should have,
Yes.
I should have, I should have.
Yes.
I'm not perfect.
Right.
I don't always think about the choices that I'm making.
Mhm.
But I wanted to come on here today
Mhm.
and ask you to think about the different situations that could come up in your life
Right.
and make a decision about those circumstances. And I do advocate everyone keeping a journal of some sort. Just, this is
Mhm.
my sloppy, messy, because that's kind of, the way I am. I just kind of stream of consciousness, right? But when I think about, like I know that there's something, an event coming up in a couple of weeks that I'm going to go to, a fancy dinner or something. And I say to myself, what are some of the things that could happen at this dinner?
Mhm.
I could meet a gorgeous man.
Mhm.
And he could say, hey, I got a room here in the hotel. Am I going to go with him to that room? Or am I going to say, I don't know you, friend. I'll tell you what, spend some time and get to know me. Make your decision, make your choice
Mhm.
before you have to make it in the heat of the moment.
Yes.
Mothers, fathers, teach your children.
Mhm.
And don't teach them what your choices are.
Mhm.
Teach them they have to make their own choices because they have to live with it. You may have to live with them too, but your time is over. This is their life.
Yes.
Teach them
Mhm.
to say no.
Mhm.
Teach them it's okay to say no. Teach them it is okay to turn their back on something even if everyone else is doing it.
Mhm.
There is no shame in being the only one who doesn't partake
That's right.
of the the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yet last night I was making a video
Mhm.
that's going to go on my own channel about some of the crafts that I do. I was out in my garage, 6:10, somewhere around 6:10, and I hear gunshots, a lot of gunshots,
Mhm.
gunfire. And this is Houston. It's a big city. You're going to have gunfire. It's going to happen. But I thought to myself, when I heard that, when I
Mhm.
heard that happening, I thought to myself, what choices did those people, whoever that is, and I didn't know who it was. I didn't know if it was an individual. I didn't know if it was a drive-by shooting. I didn't know if it was the police. But I said to myself, whoever and it was obviously at least two guns involved. You could
Yes.
tell from gunfire. Whoever those people were, but they
Oh, yeah.
didn't make a choice not to